Twisted Tales.
On a dark autumn night, Aisha, who had just finished conducting a late training session at a factory in the countryside, stood alone at a desolate bus stop. She shivered, pulling her coat tighter against the chill as she checked the time. "10 minutes had passed. The bus should have arrived by now," she thought, glancing down the empty road. Out of the corner of her eye, she noticed movement. A man was slowly approaching, his uneven steps crunching against the fallen leaves. Anxiety gripped her. "Please, don't be a weirdo," she thought, shifting her weight nervously. The man walked towards her, focusing his sight on her. The man stepped into the dim glow of the bus stop, and an unsettling dread gripped her. His tattered clothes hung loosely on him. His presence felt off-putting, and the sharp scent of alcohol lingered in the air. His eyes fixed on hers, and when he spoke, his voice was rough and unnervingly quiet.
$5.
Excuse me?
$5.
I'm sorry, I don't have $5.
$5.
Look, I don't have $5. Now leave me alone or I'll call the police.
The man stared at her for a moment. Then glanced around the empty road. Without another word, he shuffled past her and disappeared into the darkness. Relief trickled through her, but it didn't last. She was alone again, her heart pounding in the still night. What if he came back? What if he wasn't alone? She fumbled in her bag for her phone, deciding to call a taxi, just as she unlocked the screen. Headlights appeared down the road. The bus had finally arrived. She exhaled in relief as it pulled to a stop. The door creaked open, and without hesitation, she climbed aboard, her legs shaky beneath her. "How much?" she asked the driver, her voice unsteady. Aisha recognized the bus driver. It was the same unsettling man who had been hounding her for $5 earlier. She instinctively leaned back, her eyes wide with shock. His voice cut through her, saying,
$5.
The man rose from the driver's seat and stepped into the aisle, blocking Aisha's path. Fear gripped her as she backed away toward the exit, but he matched her every move, cutting her off. Desperate, Aisha thought giving him the $5 he kept asking for might end this. She held out the cash, her hand shaking, but he grabbed her wrist instead, holding her in place. Panic consumed her as she grabbed his collar, her voice trembling. "What do you want? Leave me alone. Let me go." His cold stare didn't waver. Without a word, he lunged, trying to pin her down. Aisha's trembling hands found the gun in her bag. She pulled it out, pointing it at the man. "Stay back," she cried, her voice shaking. But he kept muttering, $5. When he lunged toward her, panic took over. She fired twice, the shots ringing out. The man crumpled to the floor, still whispering, $5, before falling silent. Aisha stood motionless, the gun in her hand, staring in disbelief at the lifeless figure before her, overwhelmed by what she had done. The lights in the bus dimmed, fading slowly until darkness consumed everything. Then, cutting through the silence, a chilling, inhuman voice echoed.
$5.